Welcome back, dear students. This video is for class 10 subject science chapter number 4 carbon and its compounds, and this is lecture number 5. So in today's lecture we will start with the organic compounds, then we will have hydrocarbons, under which we will study saturated hydrocarbons and unsaturated hydrocarbons. So let us begin with our topic. All the carbon compounds can be categorized in two different parts. One is organic and second is inorganic. Now, organic carbon compounds are those compounds which are obtained from the living matters, and inorganic carbon compounds are those compounds which are obtained from the non-living matter. So in the universe, out of 100% of carbon compounds, 90% of the carbon compounds are organic and only 10% of the carbon compounds are inorganic in nature. Organic compounds, or you can say carbon compounds which are organic, can be further classified into two different categories. One is hydrocarbons and the second is some other category, or you can say hydrocarbons are the carbon compounds in which carbon and hydrogen atoms are present. Only hydrogen and carbon atom, because carbon is must, and when carbon is forming bonds with the hydrogen, then it is hydrocarbon. And if carbon is forming bonds or is combining with oxygen, sulfur, phosphorus, nitrogen, then it comes under the category of others, or organic carbon compounds with other elements. Now these hydrocarbons can be open chain, branch chain, or they can also form ring structures. These hydrocarbons are further classified into two types. One is saturated and second is unsaturated. So let us see what are saturated compounds, what are unsaturated compounds. But before that, let us start with the organic compounds. So organic compounds are the compounds in which carbon content or carbon is a must, or carbon atom must be present in that compound. Along with carbon, we can have hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, or phosphorus. Then, how did organic compounds discovered? A scientist, Friedrich Wöhler, he synthesized urea, that is organic compound, in 1988. So how did he proceed? There were two reactants in the reaction, potassium cyanate and ammonium sulfate. The two reactants were heated together and they formed ammonium cyanate and potassium sulfate. So this ammonium cyanate, when further heated, it gets rearranged in its, the atoms are getting rearranged in this way, that it formed the first step, NH4CNO, ammonium cyanate was formed. And when it is heated again, then it gets rearranged in NH2CO and NH2. CO, NH2. Then it is urea. So urea is an organic material. But urea was not the first organic compound which was discovered, because before the synthesis of urea, the scientist Friedrich Wöhler, he also synthesized oxalic acid from the inorganic compounds. But this was from the organic compounds, and that is why this is. So this urea is a organic compound. Then we have hydrocarbons. So hydrocarbons are the carbon compounds which contain carbon and hydrogen atoms only. There will be no other element or atom present in the hydrocarbons. There will be only carbon and hydrogen atoms. These hydrocarbons are further classified into two types: saturated carbon compounds and unsaturated carbon compounds. What are saturated carbon compounds? Saturated carbon compounds or saturated hydrocarbons are the compounds of carbon and hydrogen whose adjacent carbon atom contains only carbon-carbon single bond. So remember, hydrocarbons which are having carbon and hydrogen both. So hydrogen is a monovalent atom, so this will also form a single bond with the carbon, and carbon with other carbon atom will also form only single bonds. So where the presence of only single bond is there in the compound, along with in between carbon and carbon hydrogen, then the type of hydrocarbon is called saturated carbon compound. Now why they are called saturated? Saturated means satisfied. So let us understand this with one of the examples, that is methane molecule CH4. So let us see how it is formed, or the electron dot structure of the CH4. So we know that carbon is having 4 valence electrons. So the 4 valence electrons are presented here by the red dots, and these red dots, this carbon is forming a single bond with hydrogen. Hydrogen's valence electron is shown here by the cross mark. So this is one of the example. It is telling us that in a hydrocarbon only single bonds are present, so this is also a saturated hydrocarbon. But here we cannot see the bonds between the carbon and carbon atom. Now let us see another example in which we have 2 carbon atoms. So C2H6, which is called ethane. Eth means 2 carbons and ane means single bond. So a compound or a hydrocarbon which is having 2 carbon atoms bonded with single bond in between them. So we have to make an electron dot structure of C2H6. So what would be the first step? First we have to arrange the carbon atoms, whatever the number of carbon atom is present here. So first we will arrange the carbon atoms, and as we have to make a single bond in between them, so we will make the single bond in between them. Then we have to satisfy the valency of these 2 carbons. So we know that each carbon atom is having 4 valencies. One, they are satisfying with each other, that by sharing the electrons of in a covalent bond. Then which is left are 3 valencies. Now these 3 valencies are fulfilled by attaching monovalent hydrogen atom whose valence electron is represented by the cross marks, and hence this way carbon is completing its octet by satisfying its 4 valencies, and that too by making single bonds with the other carbon atom and also with the hydrogen atom. So this way this molecule is satisfying its valencies. So that is why these hydrocarbons are called saturated carbon compounds or saturated hydrocarbons, as the valencies of the carbon are satisfied and no more hydrogen can be attached to it. Saturated hydrocarbons are called alkanes, where this L means carbon compounds and ane means single bonded carbon. So the general formula for a alkane is CnH2n plus 2. This can be verified from here, that we have 2 as in the place of n, and we have 2n plus 2, that is 6. So this is an alkane, and hence its name is ethane, where ane is representing the alkane category. That means it is telling that there is a single bond between the carbon atoms, and eth is telling that there are 2 number of carbon atoms presented having a single bond between them. So this nomenclature, that how do we name a particular compound, That we will be doing in the nomenclature section, but till now you have to understand this. If we increase the number n by from 1 to so on, then the first, when n is 1, then that saturated hydrocarbon is called methane, which is having a formula of CH4. When carbon atoms are 2 in numbers, then it is called ethane. Eth means carbon atom is, the number of carbon atom is 2, C2H6. When the number of carbon atoms are 3, then we call it as propane. When number of carbon atoms are 4, then it is called butane. Number of carbon atoms are 5, then it is called pentane. Number of carbon atoms are 6, we are calling it as hexane, and so on. Like if carbon atoms they are 7 in number, then we'll call it as heptane. If number of carbon atoms are 8, then we'll call it as octane. And similarly, we can draw the electron dot structures or normal structural formulas for all these. Like let us do for 1 or 2. So let us do it for C3H8, that is propane, because for ethane we have done. So the first step is to arrange the carbon atoms with the single bonds and then to satisfy the valencies of each carbon atom. So we know that each carbon atom is having a valency of 4. So this way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hydrogens we have, and we need 8 electrons to satisfy the valency of the 3 carbon atoms. So let us arrange the hydrogens here. So now you can see that hydrogen is also stabilizing itself by sharing its electrons in the covalent bonding with carbon. And now the valency of the carbon atom is also satisfied for all the 3. The similar way we can draw the dot structures or structural formulas for butane, pentane and hexane as well. We have 2 properties of the alkanes or saturated hydrocarbons. First is that they are colorless and odorless. They do not have any color and any kind of smell. These kind of compounds I'm talking about. And because the saturation is there, or every carbon atom is arranged or linked with the other carbon atom and hydrogen atom only by the single bonds, and all the valencies of the carbon are satisfied and no other hydrogen can be attached to it, and that is why they are very less reactive. Second type of hydrocarbon is unsaturated hydrocarbons. So the compounds of carbon and hydrogen that contain one double bond between carbon and carbon or a triple bond between carbon and carbon are called unsaturated hydrocarbons. So when a carbon is having double bond with the other carbon, then also it is having 2 single bonds. Each carbon atom is having 2 double bonds, 1 double bond with the other carbon atom, and to satisfy its valencies 2 single bonds with the hydrogen atoms. And in case of triple bonds, when one carbon is having triple bonds with other carbon atom, then also it will be having 1 single bond with the hydrogen. And because of the presence of these double and single bonds, because now these bonds can be broken and more monovalent or hydrogen atoms can be attached. So here we have a possibility that if some other hydrogen is coming to it, and then it can react with it. So they are more reactive or more active, which are unsaturated hydrocarbons. So in case of saturated hydrocarbons, we were calling them as alkanes, because alkane, alk represents the carbon and ane represents the number of bonds, that is single bond. But unsaturated hydrocarbons are of 2 types, alkenes and alkynes. Alkenes, ene means double bond That means a carbon compound or hydrocarbon compound which is having double bonds in between the carbon atoms of the compound. And alkynes are the hydrocarbons in which there are triple bonds between the carbon atoms. So let us have one example for each to understand it more well. So the simplest example for alkenes is C2H4. So here we have the least number of carbon atoms present. So we can have at least 2 carbon atoms. So first step is to arrange the carbon atoms. As these are alkenes, so we have to put two covalent bonds between carbon and carbon atom. So if one carbon is having a valency of 4, then and 2 it has paired with the second carbon atom to make covalent bonding. Now it is left with the 2. Now to satisfy its valency, we have 4 hydrogen atoms and 1, 2 for this, 3, 4 for this. So we will attach the 4 hydrogens in this way that they are making single bonds with the carbon atoms. So 2 will be arranged here or attached here, and the rest of the 2 will be attached here. This way hydrogen is also completing its duplet. You can see it here that one electron it was already having, but it needs 2, so it is sharing 1 from here. And each carbon atom is also completing its octet. 2 it is getting from here, so that will make it 4. So each carbon atom is having now 4 electrons by covalent bonding with carbon and hydrogen. So here we can write this formula in this way as well: CH2, CH2, CH2 and CH2, having a double bond in between them. Or in more condensed form, we can also write it as C2H4. The general formula for alkenes is CnH2n. So there in alkanes we were having more number of hydrogen atoms as compared to carbon, but here we have double the number of carbon atoms. Hydrogen is double in the number of carbon atoms. Then the third is alkynes. As we have discussed that alkynes are the hydrocarbons, unsaturated hydrocarbons in which carbon is forming triple bond with other carbon atom. And the example is ethyne. Eth says 2 carbon atoms and ine says that these 2 carbon atoms are forming triple bonds with each other. This you can look at here that we have 2 carbon atoms. So the first step is to arrange the carbon atoms with the 3 triple bonds, with the 3 bonds. So they have shared, as the carbon is having a valency of 4, each carbon is sharing its 3 electrons with other carbon atom by covalent bonding and hence making a triple bond between the carbon-carbon atom. And the remaining 1 valence electron is shared by the monovalent hydrogen atom. This way a stable compound is formed in which carbon is having triple bond with the other carbon atom and each carbon is having a single bond with the monovalent hydrogen atom. So this is how unsaturated compounds are formed. These are unsaturated alkynes. So this is it for today's lecture. We will be discussing unsaturated or saturated hydrocarbons in more details in the next lectures. So let us see today's homework first. So in your homework you have 3 questions which are from some other reference book. So question number 1 is, why are carbon and its compound used as fuel for most of the applications? Question number 2 is, define alkanes, alkenes and alkynes. Third question is, give examples of hydrocarbons which form straight chain, branched chain and rings. So although we have not discussed about the straight branched or ring structures of hydrocarbons today, but we have discussed in the previous lecture that how carbon compounds, they form straight chains, branch chains or cyclic compounds. So on the basis of that, try to make the examples of hydrocarbons in the all three categories. Now let us see lecture number 4, homework solution. So in lecture number 4, we were having 3 questions. Question number 1 is, how many structural isomers can you draw for pentane? Pentane, that means number of carbon are 5. Ane is there, so it will be forming, each carbon will be forming single bonds with the carbon atoms. And as pentane is a hydrocarbon, so this will be C5, it has been given in the question that we have C5H12. So we have 12 hydrogens. So the answer is, how many structural isomers can we draw? So the answer is, we can draw 3 isomers. First is normal pentane, that is pentane structural formula. So we have 5 carbon atoms linked with single bonds. So now each carbon atom, we have to satisfy the valency of the each carbon atom. So now let us see how many valencies are unsatisfied after the single bonding of carbon-carbon atoms. So the extreme corners carbon, they are having a valency of 3, and in between the carbons which are present, they are having a valency of 2. So this way we are having a valency of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we have 4 hydrogens present. So we will attach these 12 monovalent hydrogen atoms in this sequence to satisfy the valency of the carbon atom. So here red dots are representing the valence electrons of the carbon and blue dots are representing the valence electron of hydrogen. And that is how this dash line, which is having a blue dot and a red dot, is denoting a covalent bonding between the carbon and hydrogen atom, where both the atoms, they are sharing their 1 electron in the bonding, and hence we are forming a stable compound. This is called N-pentane. Pentane is the name of this isomer, and N-pentane is a common name for this particular isomer. The second is isopentane, because we have seen that not only straight chains can be formed with the carbon compounds, they can also form the branched chains. So as we have 5 carbon atoms in total, so iso means methyl group is present on the second carbon of the chain. So here we are having 4 carbon atoms arranged or linked with each other by single covalent bonding, and if we start from here, then first, second, third, fourth. So on the second position, second carbon, we have attached 1 methyl group, that is CH3. So this CH3 is, this C is making a covalent bonding with second carbon atom present in the straight chain. So depending upon the position of this group, it can also be named as 2-methyl butane. Butane indicates the number of carbon atoms which are there in the straight chain, 4. Butane means 4 carbon atoms, and ane means single bonded. So 4 carbon atoms arranged with each other by single bonds. 2-methyl, methyl is CH3 and 2 is denoting its position, that where is this methyl group is attached. Don't worry, we will be doing the nomenclature part. This naming we will be doing in the nomenclature, so don't worry about it. So this was the second isomer which we can form. The third type of isomer is that if we arrange carbon atoms such that we have 3 carbon atoms which are forming a straight chain, and at the second position or mid carbon atom we are attaching 2 methyl groups. So 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3. This is second carbon. So this second carbon, which is having a valency of 4, two valencies are satisfied by making single bonds with other carbon atoms, and here at the one electron is used to connect with the methyl group of CH3. So it is making a covalent bond with the carbon of this methyl group, and one last electron of this carbon atom is making a covalent bonding with the second methyl group. So here we have two methyl groups present at second position carbon. So the straight chain, first we have to see the straight chain. So straight chain is having number of carbon atoms 3. So when there are 3 number of carbon atoms present, we call it as a propane. But as we know that there is a presence of methyl group at second position, but 2 methyl groups are there. So we can name it as 2,2-dimethyl, di because of 2 methyl groups, propane. And this is called, common name for this isomer is called neopentane. Question number 2 was, what are the 2 properties of carbon which lead to the huge number of carbon compounds that we see around us? So we have discussed these properties of the carbon compounds under the topic versatile nature of the carbon in lecture number 4 in very much detail. So I will not be giving much time here for these 2 properties, but let me tell you that first property is catenation, that is a self-linking property of carbon. Self-linking, that means carbon is having a tendency to attach with the carbon atoms and forming a long chain. Why this property is there with the carbon? Because of its small size and its unique electronic configuration. Second is its tetravalency, its tetravalent nature of carbon. That is having that tells us that carbon is capable of making 4 covalent bonds with other atoms. They can be carbon or they can be some other atom to satisfy or to obtain a stable configuration. So you write both these properties in detail in your answers. So let us see the third question. Question number 3 is, what will be the formula and electron dot structure of cyclopentane? So cyclopentane, pentane means carbon with 5 number of carbon represent the covalent bonds between them, that each carbon, 5 carbons arranged in the form of a pentane. Each carbon is having a covalent bond in between them. So by seeing these 2 dots in between each of the carbon atom, we can say that there is a covalent bond in which both the carbon atoms, they are sharing their electrons. And one red dot is telling the valence electron of hydrogen, and this blue dot is representing the valence electron of carbon. This way hydrogen is also completing its octet and getting a stability, and each carbon atom is also forming 4 bonds, 2 with the adjacent carbon atoms and 2 with the hydrogen. So this is the electron dot structure of cyclopentane. So we'll be continuing our chapter in lecture number 6 as well. Till then, take care and goodbye.